Are you a reader looking for a good book? Or are you an author who has written a book? Good Books Online is the show that brings readers and authors together.
All right, gang. Welcome to another episode of Good Books Online, the show that answers the question, have you read any good books lately? Today we have a good book. In fact, we have the author that wrote the good book. This is Raven Delahanty, and we're going to be talking about A Wolf for Samantha. And what's interesting about Raven is not only does she write about wolves, she also raises wolves.
Yes, I do. I have 5 at the moment, 3 females and 2 males.
So you got a wolf pack. So let me ask you a question. Did you start writing about wolves after you started raising the wolves, or was it the other way around?
No, I started raising wolves 30 years ago. I started writing 2 years ago. But I watched them so long, I learned their movements, their personalities, and then I just kind of put that into my werewolf characters.
Right, because wolves have rules, right?
They're very strict rules, actually. The leader of the pack, or the alpha, tends to rule with an iron fist. If somebody gets out of line, or a puppy, they're very gentle with little puppies.
Right.
But when they get about 6 months old, they start biting at the other ones, or they start doing something they're not supposed to. The male will pin them to the ground and growl in their face and explain to them that he is in charge and they must listen. So, yeah, they have a very good structure. So I kind of use that dominance in my books.
So how does that play into your prose?
Well, the male characters in my book are very dominant, and they tend to be very protective over the females. Mm-hmm. And there's several couples.
Right.
They're triangles. There's 2 males and a female, 2 males and a female.
Okay.
And the 2 males are always very protective. They're trying to, guard the women and protect the community and fight the wars. And the women tend to fight also. Right. But not because the men won't protect them, more like they're not getting left out.
Yeah, and let's make sure we explain to the readers, though. I mean, these are not wolves. These are like werewolves. They're shapeshifters.
They're shapeshifters. They're I use the term werewolf because people understand it.
Right, exactly.
But the characters, they're kind of like the Twilight wolves. Mm-hmm. You know, they turn into a wolf, but they're still human thought process. So that they still have the characteristics, but they are actually a human race that's evolved over time to become shifters.
Right, and they not only have a race, they have their own city. They have Wolftown,
yes,
right?
They live in Wolftown. And Wolftown was built by an author named Lark, who is the last descendant of the royal bloodline.
Right, and that's Queen Lark, right?
It is Queen Lark, but I tend to call her Lark because she's like part of my family now. And so, but yeah, Queen Lark believed that she was the last of her bloodline, and she built this town without knowing if she'd ever find the Lycans.
Okay.
And then when she found them, she had a place to take them. And they formed a community, and she's bringing all the packs together that were scattered across the world in small groups, and she's bringing them together to form one very large community.
But she's actually the dominant wolf, right?
She's dominant in the ruling of her people, but in the in her relationship with her husbands, she's passive.
Husbands.
Yes, she has a set of twins. So why should men have all the fun? So yes, she's in love with a set of blonde Viking-like twins who are golden wolves, and she is a snow white silver wolf.
Okay.
She's probably descendant from the dire wolves, which are larger than today's wolves.
Okay.
And in my book, there's actually a pack of dire wolf shifters that come in as protectors, and some people intermarry with that pack. But it's all about saving this race of people that are on the verge of extinction.
Right.
And they're fighting Blackthorn, who I kind of took loosely from the Nazis.
Okay.
They don't believe anyone has the right to survive who is not 100% human. So they're against vampires, werewolves, any psychic power.
Bigots.
Yeah, they are real bigots. And they're trying to kill off these people, and these people are not having it.
Yeah, and let's give them a little bit of the backstory of A Wolf for Samantha, because it's actually kind of a crime drama, because the main character actually, Samantha, actually gets kidnapped.
Yes, she does, and she gets kidnapped on her honeymoon. And she's kidnapped by a collector who collects shifters.
Right.
And forces them, for his own amusement, to breed.
Right.
So that he can watch. Him and his group of thugs. And she has to escape and save the other shifters that are being held hostage. And they're not all wolves. Some of them are bears, tigers.
Right.
but they're going to go their own way. They're just stuck by the collector who thinks he has the right to just take what he wants.
Right.
Which is kind of like, man always putting animals in zoos. I kind of went with that.
Sure.
So the collector does that, and they have to get rescued, and I don't want to give too much away.
Right, yeah, you don't want to tell the whole story.
But there's so much more. And I'm in the process of writing book 3, so...
Yeah, and actually, A Wolf for Samantha, that's actually book 2, right?
Right. The Last White Wolf is book
first
1,
book one.
and this is the story of Lark. Samantha is the healer of the community
Okay.
of Wolftown.
Okay.
And she was the only one trained to heal lichens. And she was taught by the elders. Well, the elders are gone now, so she's
Right.
the only one that can heal them. So she's burnt out. She needs a vacation. And so she goes back.
She just goes to the wrong
She
place for a
just,
vacation.
yeah, well, without that, she wouldn't have met her man.
Right.
But she goes on vacation, and then they have to rescue her because she is, in fact, their only healer.
Right.
Without them, their race would die.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to go get her. And a lot of bloodletting going on, and
Okay.
a lot of loving, and a lot of wolf characteristics and personalities that I've interwoven into the stories. So it's an interesting ride. You might really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, and also give me a little bit of an idea of where did you come up with the ideas for this? I mean, who are the authors that kind of inspired you?
Well, my favorite authors are Christina Feehand and Laura Lai.
Okay.
Both of them write very edgy, dark stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I like dark and edgy, but I also like the romance to not be, smothered by
Right.
the story. I want an equal balance.
Right.
And those two authors do that amazingly well. And their stories are very, like we've got vampires with Christina Feehand,
Sure.
and we've got shapeshifters with Laura Lai. But she does hers from a genetically altered perspective, which I really found enjoyable.
Right.
But I love those two authors. I've read everything they've ever written. And I have a hard time finding authors that I really want to read everything they've done.
Right.
I might read this book because I like it, and then the next book is, not. Mysterial Dawn, I met her on Twitter. And she writes some really cool fairy books that I've enjoyed.
Right.
So I like the unusual. I don't want to read something that's so it's a cowboy. I want something different.
Spice it up, right? And it is. I mean, that's a very interesting take. Also, you collaborate with an author in England, don't you?
Yes, I do. Rita
that
Ames, me and her got together on Twitter, and
Right.
we were burnt out writing novel after novel. So we decided to do a collaboration of short stories because it takes less time and less thought process.
Sure.
So I would write a 30-page story, and she would write a 30-page story, and then we put them together in Night Flames and Sensing Love. And those two books they're... Night Flames is very erotic. Sensing Love is a little more vanilla.
Okay.
So it kind of fits two different crowds.
Right.
There's just a story that you can read, put down, go to work, come back and read another one, and not get lost. And then we did a vampire book together. That's Silver in the Moonlight. And our styles are so different that we complement each other.
Right.
She writes very light, lovable characters, and I write dark characters. And you wouldn't think it would go together, but it really does.
Right.
And she's such an amazing author. I'm just lucky that I met her.
And we might even have her on an episode
I
of
hope
Good
so.
Books Online in the near future. So tell us a little about your third book, your next book.
The next one is called A Mate for Tegan.
Okay.
And in the end of Wolf for Samantha, you meet Tegan. And he is a tiger shifter who's been accepted into the werewolf community.
Okay.
And he gets his own book, and that because I just fell in love with his character, and I couldn't stop because he just had such a sense of humor, like at the kill.
Sure.
He's like, "Can I kill him? Can I kill him?"
Please.
And
You said I could.
yeah, well, he was killing a bad guy in his defense, but he was such a sweet
Well, he's
character.
a tiger after all.
Yeah, he is a tiger, and he's got a very tiger personality.
Right.
And I had to do a little bit of research on, like, what drugs would you give a tiger to knock him out, because I didn't want to get that wrong.
Sure.
But he gets his own book, and I'm about 50 pages through with that one, and it's really turning out to be something special. And we've got the wolves fighting with him, and we're in a tiger community, and there's all kind of things going on. And I can't wait to get that one out there. But it goes right with these, so it's just 1, 2, 3.
So how many books do you foresee in this series? Do you think you can keep this up
I
indefinitely?
don't know. I think I'm going to ride the train to the end and just see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because in every book, I tend to find a new character that I didn't think of. And once I start with that character, I don't want to let that character go.
Right.
You know, I'm like, I got to do something for this character. I can't just have this little spot. And there's also... Lark has a niece that comes into the end of Wolf for Samantha. Yeah, I think it's The Wolf for Samantha. And I'm going to give her a book later. But right now she's too young. So I have to make her 18. The law says so. And so, you know, I'm getting there. But every story, characters come through on their own. And I let them go where they want to go. And... You know, I don't do very much research. Everything is just kind of pulled out of my imagination, and I just go with it.
The characters tell you what the story's going to be all
about,
right?
Yes, they do. I just have in my head, okay, I got a queen, now what?
Right.
You know, or she needs to fall in love, and Vikings, you know, perfect. You know, I don't really foresee anything in the future. I just follow with it as it goes, and the characters talk, and
I guess that's the way the series is going to progress, right? If there's
there's more to come. I just don't know. I mean, I'm still writing other books on the side that aren't part of this series.
Okay.
Writing a dragon shifter book right now called The Girl a Dragon Loved. And it's my first adventure with dragons, and actually the dragons are winning right now. About 90 pages into that one, and it should be out. I'm going to give it a couple of months because dragons are a whole new ball game. It's not like you know what a dragon behaves like.
Right.
So you kind of have to really figure it out.
Yeah, and right now you've got, what, 5 books out there?
I have 4 online.
Okay.
I have 2 I'm writing, and I have another one that I'm starting. So the 3 that I'm working with right now, hopefully I will have 2 of them done by the end of the month, and then the following month I'll have the 3rd one done, and then I'll start a new batch of whatever.
How are they selling?
The Last White Wolf is been ranked between 44 and 1,000 out of 8 million. It's moving up the charts pretty quickly, and it's very popular in England. A Wolf for Samantha's only been out 3 months.
Just a pup, huh?
Yeah, she's new. And Silver in the Moonlight's doing really good. Okay. And that one was ranked at 900 this morning. And that is my vampire story. And it's a little raunchy, but it's really good. You know, I mean, it's one of those books that you're like, you know, you don't want anybody to see the cover.
Right.
You want to read it in your room. But it's a really good adventure, because Rita wrote a very sweet coming-of-age vampire story, and I wrote total raunch and loved every minute of it. I mean, it was just, you know, we got tables involved, you know, but it was so much fun having a vampire war.
Well, you know, if you can't have fun with the book, how can your readers, right?
That's true. And if I don't like it, I can't write it. You know, if I'm trying to write something that somebody dictates to me, it's going to be horrible, because it's not something I'm interested in.
Right.
You know, I tend to lean more towards the bloodletting and the raunchiness, and that's why Rita kind of softens things for me, because I'm more of a, you know, yeah, go get them, you know.
Kill.
Well, not kill, but, you know, hold your own, be loyal, defend your home.
Right.
I kind of took the American standards to a whole new level, and my co-authors constantly reminding me, you don't need to put that in every scene, you know. And I'm like, okay, Rita, I'll take it out of this scene. You know, she's like, or that's a little too much. You need to back that off. You know, so she sometimes gives me some perspective, you know, because I tend to just go with it, you know.
Well, if you're looking for it, you can find a Wolf for Samantha, and also
The Last White Wolf.
They're on Amazon. But this one, A Wolf for Samantha, is also on Good Books Online. So check it out. And we will, I'm sure, be talking to you once you get your new book out.
I certainly hope so. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for being here, Raven.